Hey guys, welcome back to the layout. This video is going to be about building of Mill Valley Motors, and I just wanted to do a quick intro here, kind of show the footprint of the building, which I kind of did in some past videos. But there you get a look at the size and the shape of the building. Got some parts in this week to start working on it, and so just wanted to do a quick little intro before I got started. I am using yard sign material from Lowe's. You can get it at Home Depot or Ace or any hardware store, but I just found it at my Lowe's store. I'm going to be using some smaller strips here to kind of brace it on the inside, just to keep everything square. But before I start putting it together, I got to paint it, and even before that, I'm going to work on where I'm going to place all of these garage doors and stairs, windows, access doors, all that kind of stuff. I got these from Rick's Products. I'm really excited to use those and kind of plan out where I'm going to put them. And then also I have the roof details from Walthers that I'll use down the road as well once I start assembling the roof. But like I said, just a quick little intro, just kind of show you the footprint there, where we're starting and where we're going. So I'm going to go ahead and get started marking some places that I'm going to put some things in and go from there. Okay, everyone, I went around, I kind of put the doors and windows and garage doors where I thought they should go. Pre-marked those just with some initials of the different kind of things I wanted to put in. And now I'm ready to start cutting for the openings for these pieces. So I've done a few different walls, and I just wanted to kind of show you how I do it and kind of how I learned to do it here, just trial and error. So for instance, I got a garage door going in here, a 9x12 garage door. What I do is the first few times I measured and it just got clunky. The measurements have to be so precise, so you don't have space on either side of the door you're putting in. So what I do is I kind of just get it flush here on the bottom of the piece, and I just get some tape and just kind of fasten it at the bottom. Make sure it's nice and flush. That way you're using an exact measurement here. You're not getting a tape measure or anything like that involved. Then I take the back side of my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to score. And the nice thing about, I should mention, this yard sign material, you have some natural grooves that show up. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the camera, but they kind of act as cheaters. They give you a straight line to work with, so you can make sure that you're staying straight while you keep it nice and straight here on the bottom. So I just kind of go around all three sides and just quickly score it, just to give an idea of what this opening should look like. And then once I do that, I take the garage door off and get that out of the way here. Then I just come in with one of these guys here. I go along the scored line that I have and get a nice straight cut all the way through. You may have to go back and forth through a few times if you're using this material. It is a little thicker. I don't know if I showed that earlier, but it does have these, see how well that focuses here. It does have these grooves in between that you're primarily trying to cut through. And I noticed that if you cut right to the side of it for these vertical cuts, it makes your life a little bit easier doing it that way. So basically what I do is I score each one, I come through, I cut those pieces out, and then I start spray painting the sides of the building. So that's what I'm going to do next once I have all of these cuts taken out. All right, guys, I got the holes cut out for this particular wall. It's got two garage doors and then just a standard accessway door. Next would be painting, but before I do that, I always just kind of test to make sure the pieces fit in there as intended. And with the scoring method I'm using, these fit in there so tightly, you can almost get away without gluing them, but I do end up gluing them. I just use a simple super glue along the edges to put that in. I do want to make a note, in the last segment I didn't make this as well known, but with Rick's, you kind of have these lips here. This is what's going to sit on top of this. It just kind of sets in there, you know, and kind of snaps in almost. When I'm scoring, I am going along this part here, this inside part. Not sure how well that's going to show up, but that gets you that nice tight fit and doesn't leave you any space on the edges. So this is ready for paint. I just paint it before. I think it's easier to do that. That way you don't have to tape anything up. This yard sign material is white, and the building I'm modeling, you know, loosely, is that Lordstown GM plant. It looks pretty white from the pictures, but for me, I figured leaving this white was just going to make it look too much like a yard sign. I needed to take that white off of it a little bit. So I'm just using spray paints, nothing fancy here. I got these from Home Depot. For the main walls, I'm just using this heirloom white. It's just an off-white. It takes away the stark white of this, and I think it's a really good color. And I think it'll weather really nicely too. The garage doors, access doors, things of that nature, I'm just going with this gray, winter gray. It's kind of a lighter gray. I didn't want to go too dark, but that just kind of makes some of the doors pop. So we'll see how that goes, see if I like it, and go from there. Okay guys, got the sides painted. I got the doors and the garage doors glued in. This one's gonna have a dock going underneath it. But I just wanted to show you kind of how I attach the sides of the building together. What I learned from doing kits over the years is a lot of times the kits have little grooves that, or little pieces that stick off the end that kind of line up with the next piece or allow the roof to set in. So I kind of applied that principle to this scratch build. What I did is on the ends, I just kind of attached little pieces of the sign material, put it flush to the end, and at the top I brought it down about 1/2 inch so the roof can set in there. Same thing over here on the other side as well. And what I do basically is, because I'm a little unconventional about how I want to put this building together, I like to use a hot glue gun, which I know isn't as, you know, used as widely. I did use super glue for the doors and windows and things of that nature, but for the sides together, I like to use super glue, or excuse me, hot glue, and I put it on this inside part here. That way it doesn't ooze out. It stays inside the structure and you don't see those strings of glue once they dry that, you know, look like a spider web all over the place. So what I do is, you know, just put a little bit of glue here on this inside part and here as well. And then I just take it, make sure it's flush to the corner there, and just kind of hold it in place for a few seconds. I had some lines marked on the table here to make sure I'm square. Kind of use those as cheaters here as I hold this together for a few seconds. The reason I like hot glue is just how quickly it sets. Again, I know those strings are annoying, but doing it like this hides it and it keeps it inside the structure. So I just kind of hold it for a few seconds here until I feel like it's starting to firm up. And then there we go. Now it's going to bow a little bit here since I don't have the support pieces going here and I don't have any other walls attached yet, but for the time being, I just kind of use, you know, little blocks of wood I have hanging around and whatnot to just kind of keep everything upright while I'm working. And I just apply the same principle to all 4 walls, and then I go back and I put the support pieces that I kind of string long ways and sideways here to kind of keep the structure from moving. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, start assembling the structures, and move on to getting the roof and the roof details done after that. Alrighty guys, got 4 walls glued together here and got these support pieces in between. I just kind of string these through, you know, vertically and horizontally just to support the roof and also keep the structure from collapsing in on itself at all. Did also put a piece there, kind of a pole, just to hold up the middle of it a little bit. So next going to be working on which I should mention, it does hold the roof, but now I'm going to be working on doing the roof details and things like that. I do have a couple of, a vent here on the side, and I did get some weathering done of the walls here. And for that, I just use Doc O'Brien's weathering powders. I use that for my locomotives and my rolling stock, so I just kind of had that around. Works really nicely, and I think it goes pretty well with the wall color that I went with. So kind of working through that process here as I add roof details and get the roof in here shortly. One other thing I'm going to be working on is some trim pieces. Just the way I constructed the walls here, I left a gap here on purpose, and I want to hide, these grooves here. They kind of show up, when you're connecting walls together. So I have some craft wood from Hobby Lobby that I had laying around. They're kind of, stick pieces that I think will fit in there perfectly. Going to paint those up and fit those in as well. And once that's done, along with the roof, start putting that together, getting all the buildings set here, and pretty much call this building ready for the layout. So more to come here shortly on that. Okay, I got the roof in, the details on, and everything is weathered. And I'm ready to call this building ready for the layout. Definitely need work done in the scene surrounding it, but just wanted to focus on this building in this video, and I'm really happy with it. I did finish up the trim work a little bit with, just some craft wood from Hobby Lobby. They have all sorts of sizes and cuts of that, and it's, $3 or $4. And I just had some on hand, and that's kind of what I did for these corners here. Painted them the gray just for a little bit of a contrast, and I think it looks pretty good. So, did that on the ends and then along the roof where that sign material, inside was going to be showing. This covers that up pretty nicely, I think. So yeah, everything's weathered. Everything's together, and it went pretty well as I try to show you some different angles of everything here. Certainly going to be a lot more outside details getting added. Forklifts, trucks, all this back here is going to be paved. Pretty much all along here is going to be paved as well. And even, in between here, over there is going to be the employee parking lot. Right here is probably going to be the big wigs where they park. All the peons are going to park over there. So I think for the most part, this is complete. And, let me show you the other side here. I got to maneuver around the pole a little bit, so pardon my movements. But, backside here, I think maybe a little lunch table out here for the guys that come out and take a break. Eat outside if they want. Have the dock here. Need to weather that up a little bit, but you get the idea. And then along this side is probably going to be the access road back, for trucks to come in and out of. This is kind of the outside of the plant here, so no real doors or windows on this side was needed. And like I said, this is probably where the employees go in on this side, and then the building over there as well. So, yeah, waiting on some track to finish that up with the switches and things of that nature. Want to work on this building as well. This is a separate outbuilding, maybe for forklifts or something to park. I will also have a little parking kiosk here I'm working on, but I'm just kind of scratch built out, I guess you would say, after doing this. But all in all, a kit, like I mentioned in a prior update, was going to be, $70 or $80 for a 1 foot by 2 foot, 4.5 inch tall building. I spent less than that for all of this. So this building here is 1 foot wide, 3 feet long, and it is 6 inches tall, minus the little jut out here, which is just a couple of inches. I didn't really measure it. I did, but I don't really remember what it is. A 4 inch tall, 4 inch wide building in between there. And then this guy is 1 foot by 2 foot and 8 inches tall, thereabouts. So a much bigger structure, you know, at a fraction of the cost. I think it looks pretty good. I'll probably slap a couple of pictures of the Lordstown plant here just to give you a comparison of what I was working off of, and you know, let me know your thoughts. Certainly not going to get submitted to Model Railroad or anything, but I think for the layout, it captures what I was going for. Gives you an idea that you're coming in and switching cars for, you know, a car manufacturing facility. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions, I did skip some parts along the way because, you know, cutting out the openings, gluing the walls together got a little redundant, and I didn't want to bore you guys. Didn't want to make this any longer than it already is. So if you have any questions about specific steps, feel free to put those in the comments. I'm happy to answer those if anything wasn't clear. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. Anxious to hear what you think about the building. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. There'll be more updates coming in the future on this area just to kind of make it scenic, you know, kind of complete the scene. So I encourage you to subscribe if you haven't done that already. But for now, I'm going to call Mill Valley Motors, the structure, complete and ready for the layout. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. So thanks for watching as always. This is Jake from the Mill Valley Sub. We'll see you next time.